Hi, Charlene Burke with Grow Because You Know. That's www.growbecauseyouknow.com. If you're interested in joining a mastermind group, learning about groups that are forming now, go to onlinemastermindgroup.com. That's onlinemastermindgroup.com. Currently, I have 2 groups forming. One will begin April 13th. They'll be meeting the second and fourth Wednesday of each month for 3 months from 4 p.m. through to 6 p.m. Eastern Time. The second group that is forming begins May 12th, and they will be meeting the second and fourth Thursday of the month for 3 months from 12 p.m. to 2 p.m. Eastern Time. The maximum number of members will be 6. We meet twice a month for 2 hours. I facilitate the group. You get things done, and the name of the group is Get It Done Mastermind Group. Now, why should you join the Get It Done Mastermind Group? If you want to grow your business and you are ready to create serious action plans and implement those plans to see results, then you need to join the Get It Done Mastermind Group. If you want to be held accountable for getting those things done so you can move your business forward, you need to join the Get It Done Mastermind Group. If you are ready to work in a group environment where the synergy of many minds helps to create answers, helps to brainstorm creative answers, the synergy of people coming together to share knowledge and experience, and more importantly, to support each other to achieve your most important business goals, then you are ready to join a Get It Done Mastermind Group. I encourage you to contact me and let's have a meeting, either on Skype or in a Zoom room, video conference call. Get to know me, get to know more about mastermind groups, get to know more about these that are forming now. Go to calendly.com, that's calendly.com/Charlene Burke. There you'll be connected to my calendar and be able to schedule an appointment. And what we will do during that 60 minutes is we'll get to know one another. We'll make sure this is a good fit for you. We'll make sure that you will be able to get things done. Now, having said all of that, some of the most frequently asked questions about mastermind groups are, well, why don't I start one of my own? Well, you can. Go find the people who will meet with you regularly and meet. I mean, they are basically your advisory board is what they turn into, but that takes time. The other thing to remember, though, is that what happens when a mastermind group doesn't have a real leader or facilitator? And I can tell you that generally speaking, and I'm going to say 90% of the time, those groups devolve into either a social group where nobody talks about business or gets things done, or they literally dissolve after a few months. Now, people have come to me with the kind of questions about mastermind groups, and it's based on their previous experiences. And the biggest one that gets answered every time, and the biggest answer is that you cannot undervalue having a skilled facilitator or leader for the group. I mean, if you're serious about growing your business. Now, why is that? Well, imagine if you are a startup and you just got $2.6 million in funding, and you, of course, are budget minded. You're taking things in steps because that's how funding happens. It's released in steps. And you're focused. You need to get things done. You need to hire people. You need to have processes in place. You need to have connections. You need to have the right connections. You need to be connecting with advisors. You may have to put a board together. There's all kinds of things, right, with a startup. And you join a mastermind group and you find yourself in the middle of a group of life coaches who've never touched a startup, who don't know what it is to have 2 point some odd million plopped in their lap as funding. They don't know how to report back what's been done with the money. They don't know how to account for every minute of every dollar and where it went and why it went and be able to speak to and all of that. They just don't know. They love you and they want to help and they want to brainstorm ideas about how you can improve your processes. But if their entire focus as a group is life coaches, it's not going to be helpful to you. Now, same scenario, here you are as a startup and you join a group that has a life coach in it and a business consultant and the owner of a brick and mortar and another startup actually is into year 2. How's that for a combination? Now you've got people that have broad experience and knowledge to the table, and they're available to you to answer your questions. That's power. Now, why do I think that's power? I think that's power because you never know what other people know. And the variety of industries, it's okay that 2 or 3 don't really participate in coming up with solutions for you or helping you to understand something, but the other 3 do. How cool is that? And then what you bring to the table, you bring your experiences of being a startup, of all the things that you went through. That's valuable to anybody in business because it helps us to think more clearly about our businesses. It helps us to refine our own processes because if you're in lean startup mode, all of us can benefit from being in lean mode. It doesn't have to be startup to be lean. So another question that's often asked to me is, why should I pay? Why should I pay to be a member of a group? Well, there's a couple of reasons that I'm going to give you. The first one is you know that everybody in the group has a bit of skin in the game. So we've committed, right? If you've got 6 people in a group and they've all committed to meet for 30 days, 90 days, 6 months, 1 year, whatever that commitment is, mine go from anywhere from 90 days to 6 months commitments with renewals. But you're really more committed if you've put in some dollars on the table, right? So we know that. That's just psychological. If I'm paying for something, I'm going to take it a little more seriously and I'm showing I'm really committed. Another thing is that when you have a skilled facilitator, me, and I'm trained, you can trust that the environment is going to be conducive to you being successful and the others being successful. You can also trust that the facilitator will keep the conversations, discussions on track and rein people in when needs to be, and to take care of any issues that might arise with other members so you don't have to worry about them. So if somebody gets a little overbearing, maybe somebody gets out of sync, and they start bringing in things to the discussion that don't make any sense. Maybe there's somebody who's going through something really emotional and suddenly breaks down and starts crying. Yeah, that happens. Well, it's the facilitator's job to make sure that things run smoothly. It's more than just opening up the room, set the agenda, send out the invites, close the room. It's more than that. The facilitator also, because of the variety of people that I've come in contact with, I have a network now of previous mastermind group members, current members, and my own personal business network that I can tap into and do as a resource to members. So when things really just come to a halt, and this happens, you throw a problem out on a table and we're all asked the right questions, but we still aren't able to help you. As a facilitator, oftentimes I'm able to step in and say, I know somebody that can help you. I'll be happy to get you connected. So another reason to pay is that you get committed. You know what that's like when you pay for something, how much attention you give it. And yet another reason to pay is we know who's going to come into the group. Now, why does that matter? Well, if I want you to think about a free group, would you go to a meetup today with the problem you currently have in your business and go to that group of strangers? It's free. They all showed up. Don't know who's showing up, but somebody's showing up, and just throw it out to them to get an answer. How seriously would you take their answers? Just wondering. Now, let's say that works and you go back to your business and it works and things are running more smoothly and you're feeling very successful and you're feeling very confident about what's happening. And you go back to that meetup the next month, or maybe it's the next week or the next meeting, and you want to share with the group that what they had told you worked. So you come to the meeting and nobody from the last meeting shows up. Now it's a whole new group of people. That's a letdown. You don't have anybody to celebrate with. So those are just a few reasons why you would want to pay for a group. Focused, moderated, facilitated, so the conversation discussion stays on track. Commitment is ensured. Vetting happens. That's why I gave you my calendar link so that I could speak with you to see if the group currently forming is a good fit for you. Some aren't. And when that's the case, I'll be honest and I'll tell you why. So my calendar again is Calendly, calendly.com//Charlene Burke. Schedule an appointment. You can go to onlinemastermindgroup.com and read some testimonials. You can go to YouTube, and there's a few video testimonials on the Grow Because You Know channel in the section for Mastermind Group videos. Feel free to go there and hear some testimonials. Some that aren't on there are business owner, online marketing agency, wants to increase revenue, but doesn't want to increase staff. So really what it comes down to, and what everybody in the group realized after talking about it a little bit and asking questions, is that need to get more out of your existing customer base. How do you do that? So what the group did was they started brainstorming. What other services could he offer to existing customers? And between the brainstorming and the asking of additional questions, getting clarification, him popping in with what ifs, others popping in with, well, you know, I saw this happen. I wonder if that would work. So that's all it was just ideas, right? And we all made note. We all being myself as the facilitator, and he made note of those ideas. The next meeting, which was about a month later, this is one that meets once a month, he came back and said, so I want to bring to the group, I want to explore these ideas, because after last meeting, I took a closer look and I think that these are possible, but I'm not quite sure how to flesh these out. So the group was able to take one of those ideas and really start fleshing it out for him as a service offering. So the meeting ended, and he goes back to doing his work. We all go back to doing our thing. We meet again the third month, and he says, so I'm giving this some more serious thought, and this is what I've come up with. And it was a modified version of what the group had come up with the previous month. And a couple of holes were poked in it, but not many, from group members. And he was able to have something solid to really work from. Now, mind you, each of these meetings, we have set amount of time provided to each person. It's not like the entire 2 hours is that one person. So other things were happening in the meeting. And other people got great ideas from what they had brainstormed for him. So that all happened. I'm telling you, by month 4, he comes back to the meeting and he says, so I came up with this package. This is what it is. I came up with this price. This is what it is. And I want to share with you all that I went to one of my current customers and offered this to them. And it was like an upsell, side sell. something that they had never considered. He said, I offered it to them. They signed the contract. We begin next month with the added services, and it's projected that this will add $18,000 a year to my revenue out of this one customer. Of course, we celebrated. It's fantastic. Now go do it again, right? So that's one success. Another one came through. He came to the group and needed actually to put together a board. He's kind of a startup, $1.8 million a year tech company, had been in business about not quite 2 years, and was ready to back out of the I'm doing it all role, and needed actually to create a board of advisors and to put in place a CEO, a CFO, and a real mentor for him. He needed somebody to take that business further. He needs somebody to help guide him. He didn't know all that. He came to the group and started throwing out what he thought his problems were. And the group, with their questions to him and asking more about what he does and why he does what he does, came up with the solutions, which was, you need to have an advisor. You need to back off. You've taken this as far as you can. You need to back away. You need to find a CEO, a CFO, and more importantly, the most important thing for him, according to him, that came out of that group is that he needed to find a mentor. Somebody that really understood his business, because it was specialty. And with kind of money and revenue being generated, the kind of services being offered, international, he needed that. So that's what was left. Now this is just a 90-day group. That's all it was, just a 90-day group. By the end of the 90 days in that group, he had not only had in place a CEO and a CFO, he had additional technical people that were hired in the team. And according to him, most importantly, he had a mentor. And it was somebody who had been watching him. They had worked together at one time, and he approached him, and what he was talking to him about was, can you help me find a CEO? And so he was brought on first, and then the others happened quickly. I mean, within 60 days, up, running, got these people in place. And I can tell you that 7 months have passed since the last time he met in one of my groups. He's soaring. He is in additional countries. He is working with his board of advisors, and he's growing. It works. Another group member is about ready to launch a really big website. Big offering. Pretty much has everything in place, but just wants to finish up some little things and was looking for accountability. So through this group, have completed professional videos of instruction. That was one of the things on the plate. Came to us with only 2, which was the videos and the marketing message. Had the marketing message taken care of. Then, turns out we could use the group to help with landing page refinement. Then it turns out, use the group and those brainstorming sessions to come up with a way to really refine the services being offered. Most importantly, through the group, was able to identify the real priorities of what needed to get done. 90 days, things are getting done exactly the way she had hoped. Those are just some examples. My own personal example, I was a member of a CEO roundtable for quite a few years. We met once a month. We didn't have hot seats so much as we had brainstorming sessions. We were all guided, knew the agenda for each meeting, and a presentation was made by the leader, facilitator, so that we would have creativity sessions and brainstorming sessions and what ifs and what have you. But also during those, we were able to throw out there, I'm having a problem similar to this. Here's a quickie, like, executive summary update of what's happening in my business. And I did that. And I said, I really need to refine my target market. I really do. I'd been doing well, but I was getting exhausted, and I knew that there was a group that I needed to be working with. And they were able to help me. They were able to help me identify that at the time I wanted to work with technical engineers, design engineers, those who were involved in new product creation and testing and manufacturing. Boom. Loved that. A group that I was recently a member of, which was even better, but it was because it was more focused on leadership. And that was a group of very powerful, driven women who we gathered, met twice a month for 90 days. And we jumped in and had questions about how do we handle being visible? How do we handle leading this new team? Had somebody in there that was launching an entirely new business. Had somebody else who was had been successful and was suddenly just really struggling. And then there was me. And I was coming out from behind a company name. So it was just Charlene Burke coming out. And it was through this group, through their questions and their sharing of knowledge and expertise, sharing their networks with me, that I've been able to be much more confident in my ability to step out as Charlene Burke, to step out from the company and be who I am. It's actually because of that group that I was able to take my mastermind groups to the public. You see, I have been facilitating mastermind groups since 2009, but it's only been since October of last year, well, September of last year, that I took them public, meaning I'm coming on blabs like this and talking about them. I am focused on talking about them elsewhere. I'm advertising that these are available. And so it's because of them that I was able to do that. Oh, those are just a few things, a few thoughts about the power of mastermind groups. Once again, I invite you to talk to me. There are seats available. One group that's forming begins April 13th. Meeting the second and fourth Wednesday of every month for 3 months. The other group that is forming begins meeting May 12th and will be meeting the second and fourth Thursday of each month from 12 to 2. So those that are meeting in April 13th, second and fourth Wednesday, will be meeting from 4 to 6 p.m. Eastern Time. We'll be meeting in a Zoom platform, private video conferencing platform. The group that forming and meeting that begins May 12th on the second and fourth Thursday will be meeting from 12 to 2 p.m. Eastern Time. Go to my calendar at calendly.com, calendly.com/Charlene Burke. Schedule an appointment. Let's have a conversation. Thank you for joining me. This is Charlene Burke with Grow Because You Know. I believe that you can only grow when you know what you need to know. www.growbecauseyouKnow.com, onlinemastermindgroup.com. Let's move forward with the day on purpose with purpose to grow our hearts, grow our minds, and grow our businesses. Thank you.